couple of years ago, I returned from a road trip with a couple of giant plastic totes full of childhood memories. It's time to move them to the basement, but before I do, I wanted to share them with you. Yeah, I got a few more things to show you before I finally close up the last tote and bring it all to my basement to store it for another 20 years. I'm going to start out with this fossil. I got this when I was in college for some reason. It's a Palm 3C. Now, imagine a world before cell phones, or at least before people commonly carried them. In a world where not everyone even had a computer, at least on my campus. Pagers were obsolete, but we weren't quite there yet when it came to MP3 players and such, so the personal data assistant was a thing. This one is made by Palm, and it's the first color version, the 3C for color. And it's in perfectly good condition. I kept it in immaculate condition, really. And it works just fine. I haven't tested it in years, but it's got an old NiCad battery in there, and I still have the cradle, the cables, and all that. I just can't really use it anymore because, well, it's a PDA. But also because it uses a serial port, and computers don't really have those anymore. And the software that you use to sync the Palm with the computer comes on a compact disc, and I don't really have anything to run that either. It has an IR thing, so you can transmit data to and receive data from other Palm PDAs, which I've done exactly 0 times. There's a little stylus that hides up in the corner here. Still got it, the original one. And yeah, it's a touch screen. Well, sort of. It's a stylus screen, and you gotta press like harder than you'd be comfortable with now with the advent of touchscreen technology. But this dinosaur, yeah, I just never felt the need to get rid of it, and I'm glad I held on to it. Maybe I can donate it to a museum. And you have a full array of buttons down here that are physical ones. Little green power button recessed over here. Battery's long dead. So, yeah, I don't even remember why I got it. I remember most of the time I just played games on it. I put a game, a Star Trek game, where you were like a little Enterprise moving on a grid, and then there was like a Klingon ship, and you had to kill it before it killed you. Very, very simple. And then I think it had like a basic solitaire game and some other stuff. But then when the batteries ran out, it would reset to like the factory settings. So anything I did on here would be gone, and I'd have to cradle it, synchronize it to get it all back on there. It was a real pain in the butt. But you know what? It was like 2000, 2001, somewhere in there. And it was just really cool at the time. The rest of this stuff is toys. So I will begin with my movie Maniacs Series 3 Ash of Army of Darkness action figure put out by McFarlane Toys way back in the early 2000s, I believe. I never opened this one. I wanted to preserve it. I have no idea if it's even worth anything, but the package is in almost perfect condition. There's a little bit of cracking and rolling on this side, so it's not going to be, 10 out of 10. But, I mean, come on. I did a great job. On the back, you can see all the other things that from the movie Maniacs series. You got The Fly, Escaped from L.A., and Edward Scissorhands. I don't have the Edward Scissorhands one, but that would be cool to have. Oh, King Kong and The Thing. There. Anyway, what you get in the package is Ash in his iconic blue shirt with his chainsaw for a hand, and they have the swappable mechanical hand that he fabricates in the movie. You get a Necronomicon. You get the shotgun from S-Mart, Remington's top of the line. And you get a movie poster replica, which is hard to see, but it's in this like kind of bone themed frame behind him. Yeah, so that's cool. And one of my favorite things, you get a little itty bitty Ash with the fork, and he's striking a little pose there. So whole thing's there. It's complete, unopened. Neat. Another oldie and collectible now, I think. I got this Nintendo Power Samus figure. Apparently it's a Series 4. I don't know, it's the only one that I got, and it's the only one that I wanted. This came out in the early 2000s. It's from the Metroid series, of course. And it's Samus in her suit. It's a classic orange, red, yellow look. You can swap out the head for the good ending head, I suppose. And I never took this one out of the package either, and I kept it very well preserved. Even better than that other one. A tiny bit of rolling on the edge. I don't know how to grade these things. I guess there's a scratch here. That's about all that's wrong. It is yellowed, but that's just old plastic. It's still, it's not cracked or anything. And on the back, there's a little bit about Nintendo Power, the history from the 80s, a couple images from the early Metroid video games, and there's actually a little Velcro piece where you can open the back, and it has a whole display back here of different facts and figures about Samus Aran. You got your brief history of Samus, all the different games that were available at the time. Now, at the time of the release of this figure, Super Smash Bros. Melee had just came out for the GameCube, so it's just kind of teasing you about another game coming up on the GameCube, which ended up being Metroid Prime, which I never actually played. I played like a demo disc, didn't like it. 2D side-scrolling is my bag. I didn't like the 3D stuff. Tips on how to beat Kraid in Super Metroid. Yeah, this is it's perfect. No fading, no nothing. It's great. And the little Velcro thing is still intact. Now, I went on eBay out of curiosity to see, like, what do these things go for anymore? And they sell for, I think, thousands of dollars? Or at least they're listed for that much money. I don't know if anyone's actually buying them for that much. But if you look in the very back, there's like a subscribe to Nintendo Power book thing back there. I'm actually not sure what that is, but it looks like it could be promotional material for Nintendo Power. Like a I don't know, booklet or something. It will forever be a mystery. I'm never opening this thing. Another action figure I kept in storage is this Power of the Force figure of Admiral Akbar. Power of the Force was out, I think, in the 90s, and this one happens to be signed by Admiral Akbar himself, Tim Rose. It's a trap. Yes, he actually wrote that on this thing in gold Sharpie. And I kept it in this little clamshell thing to preserve it, so there's nothing wrong with this packaging. It's A+, 10.0, and I mean, the outer clamshell thing is worn, but that's what it's there for. It's protecting the insides. And how do I know this is authentic? Well, because I was there, and I took a photo of him signing it. So that is the figure in this photo. That's this thing. And I just kind of slipped it in the back to show that, yep, that's, I mean, you can't get any more authentic than that, right? No idea how much it's worth. I just kind of kept it forever. Now, the rest of the toys I want to show are Alien and Predator themed. I have this kind of unusual piece. It's called the Ultimate Predator, the Alien Hunter. And it's big. It's really big. And I kept it in the package. well, it's kind of your classic Predator. Shoulder cannon, little bit of armor, kind of a orange-brown skin, and I don't want to take him out, but you got a little whirly, the disc weapon here, and there's an interesting like digi explosion thing going on in the background, and I got it for $10 from Toys R Us. And it was kind of mangled and beat up and on the shelf of like, we need to get rid of these. So here's a picture of what it looks like when it's out and assembled. You have menacing attack jaws, the razor claw gauntlet, powerful assault stance. Sure, I guess that's a thing. 10 inches tall, and the smart disc weapon. And I always thought this is a weird one because, well, they made the big Kenner Alien action figure back when the movie Alien actually came out. Those are rare and hard to find now. Maybe Kenner thought this would be the next big thing. And I've never ever actually seen one of these like in a toy store, antique store, comic store that specializes in older toys. To my knowledge, this might be the only one in existence. I haven't really looked online though. So I don't know if this is worth a lot or very little, but I have one, the Ultimate Predator Alien Hunter thing. And it was made in 1995. Yeah, I've had this thing for quite a long time. Yeah, I got this handsome couple right here. This is an Alien and a Predator, I think from the McFarlane series or something like that. They're a little bit better made and better looking than the Kenner figures, and there's a lot going on with these, but this is like the classic looking Predator with like the fishnet clothing and the plate leg armor. So let's take a walk around this thing and see what's going on. First of all, there's a lot of stuff that like moves and you can touch and articulates, and it's really neat. So first of all, you have this sash with cool skulls all over it, and on the back there's even like a spinal cord. His loincloth, you can be lifted up so you can get a glance at that sweet Predator ass. Oh, and there it is, printed on at the bottom of the loincloth. 2002 McFarlane Toys. How about that? So I've had this thing for 20 years. The hair moves around. There's a bone necklace that you can also move around. Presumably these have clasps somewhere. They can be removed, but I don't want to do that. There is a blade weapon in his right hand that can move in and out with this little slide, like so. It's got the iconic shoulder cannon attached with all of its cool looking parts. I don't know if that's like Predator language in there or what, but it also moves. It's articulated, see? It can move around, and that looks just like it did in the original movie. We've also got some cool like tubing things connecting stuff together, and that's just kind of a neat detail for when you move his arm around and like the tubing kind of moves with it. That's all still intact. And of course, on this wrist, he's got the iconic bomb thing, and you can even see the Predator number things as it counts down to doom. That is one ugly. You know the rest. Very nicely put together. I mean, they even like have like spatter paint going on, and this thing looks great. Perfectly well preserved for 20 years. And then we have the other half. The classic H.R. Giger Alien. This one is very tall. I can't really fit it into the camera completely. But there's a lot I like about this one. It's shiny. There's like a sheen to this one. It's got some orange splotches, tons of articulation. The ankles are literally ball joints, and the legs can bend at the knee, a little bit anyway. You can turn the legs here, curiously. I doesn't really look very good because it kind of breaks up the mechanics of the thing. But more options, more flexibility. The tail is made of a rubbery material, and it's got a wire through it, so you can bend it and articulate it however you want, and it stays that way. And it's got a cool little barb at the end there. You got articulation at the waist. Got the spiny things in the back, and the arms, and the coolest thing, of course, is the head, which, like the original 1979 figure, has the translucence to it where you can see the humanoid skull on the inside a little bit. Very hard to line it up correctly because of the lighting, but it's in there. And other details in there as well. That is a cool look. Yeah. The second mouth does go in and out. It actually is spring-loaded, so you can click it in there. Very cool. Alien and Predator. And they came together. This is like a one-package deal. Because Kenner, in their Alien vs. Predator action figure line, had a package with pretty much these two figures. It was like the Alien in all black and then the classic-looking Predator. So it's just like the updated versions. My field of view is nowhere near big enough to show this in all its majesty. So I'm going to show you piece by piece and then put some snapshots to kind of show you the whole thing later. So this was a set, I want to say I got it in like 2004 maybe, 2005, something like that. And what you get is this base plate, which is basically the Alien Queen hive. On the bottom, there is a button to turn it on and off, and oh my god, the batteries are still good. I was just going to say, the batteries are long dead, but these alien eggs light up. Holy cow. So these are the tops of the alien eggs, and it looks like, you know, from the first movie. And there are these little pegs that these egg tops correspond to. They're just the slightest bit rubbery. It's eerie. And then this one is actually opened with that ooey gooey organic-y look to it. They also came with a couple of face huggers that you can sort of pretend this one's, you know, coming out of the egg and this one maybe skittering across the ground. Oh, that's so cool. I don't know if it's supposed to flicker, but it's flickering. That may be all you get. So, yeah, battery might need to be replaced, or maybe it's just a little loose and somehow still alive, but those are the glowy alien eggs. There are also these posts, which hold into place the Queen herself, which comes in multiple parts. Here's her head. And as you can see, she is a beaut. She's freaking massive. But yeah, it is the Alien Queen modeled after the one from Aliens. And it's kind of a mixture of hard plastic with soft plastic. And it makes for a very neat figure. So for example, her face and head are hard plastic. Her neck has kind of a softer plastic meshy thing, so you can articulate it in a lot of different ways. Yeah, and even this like connective sinewy tissue here, so like you can move it around and it just kind of makes it look more organic. Oh, that's so cool. I've got a lot of arms for her. I've kind of removed them to try to preserve them, but yeah, she's got just arms galore that stick into these like ball joints, and I mean the thing's a piece of art. It's like a sculpture. Check out the legs, just kind of very menacingly organic looking, but very alien. And the tail, is this big. And you just kind of shove it into her butt. You know what? Now that I think about it, this base actually belongs to that Alien and Predator figure I showed you before. It is not from the Alien Queen set. I just kind of forgot. Because the Queen doesn't have holes in her feet. She has these posts, very pointy high heel shoes, sort of. And they correspond to these holes in this base, which is kind of an industrial looking thing, which attaches here to its corresponding piece here, which has that poor unfortunate colonist who's been slimed to the wall and has a chest burster come out of her. That chest burster is right here, and it kind of goes in from behind and you can shove it through her actual chest. These sets are awesome. And there's like some loose wires hanging down the side here. I mean, these things feel lived in. A little valve right there. And then like the ooey gooey stuff just holding her into place. It's terrible, but satisfying at the same time. They really knew how to make cool stuff back then, and it all feels very organic and cool. In you go. Yeah. Now I've also got this bag that has a few things in it. I found this golf ball which has like the continents on it, and it's really beat up. When I was in high school, my friends and I went to a nearby planetarium where they had one of those pendulums that kind of rotated as the Earth rotated, and they had these golf balls in a big circle around it, and as the Earth rotated and the pendulum, you know, it swung back and forth and it would knock off one of the golf balls. My friends and I stole this one. Or one of my friends did. It might have been me. I can't remember. And I kept it for like 27 years. So if the BCC Planetarium would like their golf ball back, I still have it. Now in here, I have some more Evil Dead stuff, and I really don't know very much about why I have these or where I got them. But yeah, basically what we have is a Deadite. So this is from Army of Darkness. Pretty neat work here. It's sort of like still kind of fleshy, but yeah, kind of zombified. Neat use of color with the blues and the yellow. Very sickly looking, very articulated. The wrists move, the arms bend. It's for such a small thing, it actually moves quite a bit. Moves quite a bit. Even the waist, or the torso, I guess, moves around in there. You see that? Ooh. Oh. You can do the Michael Jackson lean. And the Deadite has an old bronze-looking shield. So let's get this Deadite ready to attack the castle and get the Necronomicon. Yeah, this sword is hey, Tristan Barnett, I got something to send you to fix for me. Or maybe it's intended to hold this mace. Oop. I think I might have just broken his wrist off. Oops. Well, anyway, let's look at the other figure. This is Ash before he splits into evil and good Ash. It's got the mechanical hand on one side and the not mechanical hand on the other. It's got the old S-Mart shotgun, double barrel. Each of these figurines comes with a little base to stand on with one peg. Just kind of a cracked mud looking base. And it has a little itty bitty, very, very cute Necronomicon. They did a great job recreating the look from the film. JJ Jinx! Truck Stop Knives.